Hello and welcome back to Reason News. The Western Cape High Court has delivered a landmark judgment declaring the National Assembly's decision to designate Dr. John Hlophe, parliamentary leader of the MK party, as one of its representatives to the Judicial Service Commission, unconstitutional and invalid. This ruling follows a legal challenge brought by the Democratic Alliance, joined by Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch. Earlier this year, the National Assembly designated Dr. John Hlophe, leader of the MK party in Parliament and former Judge President of the Western Cape High Court, as one of its representatives to the Judicial Service Commission, or JSC. The JSC plays a crucial role in recommending judicial appointments and overseeing the conduct of judges. Dr. Hlophe's designation was immediately controversial given his history of judicial misconduct findings and impeachment by Parliament in 2024. The Democratic Alliance, backed by Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch, approached the Western Cape High Court arguing that the Constitution prohibits individuals found guilty of gross misconduct from serving on the JSC. The DA's legal team argued that Dr. Hlophe's appointment undermined the integrity of the JSC and the judiciary as a whole. Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch emphasized the importance of upholding constitutional standards for public office, especially in bodies tasked with safeguarding judicial independence. The respondents, the National Assembly, Dr. Hlophe and the MK party, defended the designation, arguing that Parliament has broad discretion in nominating its representatives and that Dr. Hlophe's parliamentary role did not disqualify him under the Constitution. On Monday, the Western Cape High Court ruled decisively in favor of the applicants. The court found that the National Assembly's decision to designate Dr. Hlophe to the JSC was unconstitutional and invalid. The judgment held that the Constitution, read in light of the principles of the judiciary integrity and accountability, bars individuals who have been found guilty of gross misconduct from serving on the JSC. Here's a video from SABC News who spoke to MK Party National Spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndlela.
The will of the people is what should be resonating in terms of the decisions that are taken by Parliament. Parliament draws its powers and privileges from the Constitution. As a member of Parliament, you are not in any way limited in terms of which committee you can preside in or participate in. In this case, what we're finding is the DA, a racist organization that should have actually been the forefront of actually impeaching the president, is now wanting to use what is irrelevant in this case because Dr. Hlophe is legible and in actual fact more qualified than anyone else to sit in that JSC, to preside over interviews. Remember, when you preside over these interviews, you don't appoint the judges, and this is where they're missing it. It is the president who appoints. Now, for the DA to create an impression as though Dr. Hlophe, on the basis of morality and not within law, and for courts in this case, to then come with a judgment based on morality, that in of itself is concerning, because what this means now is that we now have judicial sovereignty. That is why in Mkhonto Wesizwe, we are pushing that this country needs parliamentary sovereignty where the will of the people must resonate with the decisions that are taken in courts. Remember, judges are not lawmakers. We are the lawmakers in Parliament. Judges are just mere interpreters of the law. But what we're finding is that the judicial system is now overreaching and now wanting to change the laws in Parliament. So therefore, this to South Africans must be a clear demonstration that we need to have parliamentary sovereignty, because this so-called constitutional framework, in the light of what is supposedly a democracy, which is not reflected in terms of the decisions that are taken in these courts and in Parliament, clearly is very concerning and should, in actual fact, be looked at it in that way.
In its written judgment, the court stated the National Assembly is bound by the Constitution to act in a manner that protects the independence and integrity of the judiciary. The designation of a person found guilty of gross misconduct to the Judicial Service Commission is incompatible with these constitutional obligations. The Democratic Alliance welcomed the ruling, calling it a victory for the rule of law and the separation of powers. Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch echoed these sentiments, urging Parliament to act with greater care in future designations and constitutional bodies. The MK party and Dr. Hlophe expressed disappointment, indicating that they are considering their legal options, including a possible appeal to the Constitutional Court. Legal experts say the judgment reinforces the principle that Parliament's powers are not unlimited and must be exercised in accordance with the Constitution. The case highlights the importance of maintaining public confidence in the judiciary and ensuring that those who serve on the JSC meet the highest ethical standards. The ruling compels Parliament to revisit its processes for nominating representatives to the JSC and other constitutional bodies. It also sends a clear message that individuals with adverse findings of misconduct cannot be entrusted with oversight of the judiciary. Parliament will now have to nominate a new representative to the JSC in compliance with the judgment. Analysts say the judgment is a significant step in safeguarding judicial independence and preventing the politicization of judicial appointments. It also affirms the role of civil society in holding public institutions accountable through the courts. The court's decision to order Dr. Hlophe and the MK party to pay costs is seen as a strong statement on accountability. Legal commentators note that such orders are rare and reflect the seriousness with which the court viewed the constitutional breach. With the judgment now delivered, Parliament must act swiftly to comply. Dr. Hlophe and the MK party have the option to seek leave to appeal, but for now the ruling stands as a clear directive on the standards required for service on the Judicial Service Commission. Until next time, stay informed, updated and curious.